And we're live. I'm excited for today's conversation with a good friend of mine and in an area that I really haven't dived into quite yet. I've had a lot of guests on from professional fighters to entrepreneurs and business owners, all kinds of different individuals, high performers in their own rights. But I haven't had somebody on from the fashion industry with all the experience that you have and everything that you do. So, first things first, Felipe, thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks to you, man. So happy to enjoy your amazing podcast. Very excited to share some time together to share with your community. So very happy for this invitation and being here.
Likewise, likewise. It's my pleasure. For anybody who doesn't know who you are, hasn't come across your work yet, why don't you tell us a bit more about yourself?
Sure, I'm Felipe Fiallo. I'm creative director and founder of my homonymous brand. It's a luxury footwear brand based in Milano. Our aim is to regenerate the planet, and is that my big goal with this brand. As I create the brand 2019, I went deep in the research process of material ecology, what I call this new aesthetic and new style I have created from like this combination between digital fabrication, high talent manufacturing, and biology is the new aesthetic I define, and that's the way how I see future. I see the luxury how it has to evolve into something with more meaning and with more sense, and that's what I call the new aesthetic is bio digital couture. So we are the very first brand in the world who is focused in this bio digital couture and to co-create with nature to create new aesthetics and to bring the best of the planet into the consumer and to encourage people to be one with the planet, not because of thoughts or because of kind of philosophy, but it's just because you love what we're creating. And I think that's so important to push the boundaries of fashion when you don't need to tell the client this is sustainable. I think sustainability is something that has to be there inside of the object. So what we do is just to put it out on an incredible way, cool aesthetics, very fresh vibes into the collection, and to have a purpose behind each of the pieces that we're creating will allow us to recover and to regenerate the planet in fastest time. I'm industrial designer as a background. I am from Ecuador. I coming from one of the most mega diversity countries of the in the world. For me, nature has been always my point of start. Before, when I was doing products and interior design, architecture, as well as today doing fashion and footwear, I think it's the same point of starting. And perhaps this comes for big connection since I was a child, and perhaps later we can go deep into that. But I'm very lucky to
For
come
sure.
from a family who who teach me to dream big. You know, like they were always like supporting me, pushing my dream, pushing my ideas. And I think, yeah, that is part of my journey where everything started. My father is an architect, my mom is an interior designer, and I was surrounded of creativity, but also kind of politics because my father was the governor of Imbabura in Ecuador. So always my family has been kind of connected with community, with people, with the citizens more than the politics itself. Is the commit to solve problems in the society through our profession, through our human being and capability that we have. So I have kind of this mix between politics, profession or technical profession, and now the power of culture, because fashion is culture, and this is my biggest motivation, my biggest goal to push to put something out. I think there is so many things, so great proposals, so many brands around the world that are doing incredible work, but it is space for news, there is space for innovation, and that's why in 2018 I decided to switch from industrial design to fashion industry to footwear industry and to specialize into that. 2019, I won a scholarship of Adidas. I had the opportunity to go deep into the research and development of biomaterials, working with in a program that name is Fabric Academy together with MIT. So it was a very technical immersion process of 6 months, and then COVID started. So it was 1 year for me going back to Ecuador and researching around my neighborhood, trying to find materials when everything was closed, the lockdown didn't allow me to buy nothing. So it was like, oh my goodness, how can I do shoes? Like I have to create my collection footwear. So I was looking for algae, you know, around my town, the lake, it was the algae, then mushrooms. And then I was very lucky to, before the lockdown, I bought a secondhand 3D printing, and the laboratory was my kitchen. And then I started creating all these bio materials and all the material biology, let's say. And that's how my collection, my first collection, very first collection in fashion, it came out 2020. I won the Ferragamo award, so Fondazione Ferragamo award. Then I moved back to Italy, and there was the opportunity to meet Pouya. You were in the town. It was this kind of weird period of COVID. We'd never be able to meet in person, but it was on that incredible time that yeah, everything started, man. Like that's my kind of my journey. 2022, after working for Ferragamo with one of the most beautiful archive of footwear in the world, more than 15 pieces created by hand for him. I have a big understanding from technologies, from material innovation, but also from luxury industry, comfort, fit, and yeah, all these mentors that I had in my life allow me to put out like something new and something that people is loving and people is getting involved in. Why luxury? I would say luxury started in 2016. I was named by the government of Ecuador the designer for the luxury train of Ecuador. And this responsibility was incredible. I was working with my team for 3 months, creating the most beautiful train of South America. We won 5 years, 5 consecutive years as the most beautiful experience, the most beautiful train in South America. It was the first train in the world that you can live inside the equinoxium. So I was combining like the indigenous culture with the diversity that we have. Ecuador is a country of more than 18 nations. So we are a percentage of indigenous people, black people, white people, and mix. So in this region, as I was born, and that's my voice, that's my power.
I love that. I mean, I just want to say first things first. One thing that always stands out to me about you, even the first time that we met, and today it's very evident as well, is your passion. When you're speaking, it just comes across that you're somebody who's living on purpose. You're somebody who's very much aligned with his passion and working in the direction that you want to be working in. That's amazing. That's something I love to see in people when they're doing what they truly want to be doing and they're doing amazing work. So I just want to say that passion comes across, and I just love your energy and everything that goes with it. Your background is amazing. There's a lot that I want to get into, so much that I want to touch on with you today. You talked about doing brand deals and partnerships with names like Adidas, Ferragamo. I know you were just traveling last couple of months to different fashion weeks all over the world, so it was hard to even coordinate this. So there's a lot going on. I want to ask you about all of that, but I actually just wanted to say you alluded to it earlier about how we almost met up when I was in Italy, and what I love, and I just wanted to say this, for anybody who doesn't know. How we met is initially just through business, and then we networked with each other and became friends. And then I was in Italy. I was actually in Milan while you were in Florence, and then I moved to Florence, and then you went to Milan, and
Yes,
we just
yes,
missed
yes.
each other. Uh, so so we'll definitely make that happen in the future. But that's something that I love. I just wanted to say, it's one of my favorite things from networking, from the business world, is making friends like you all over the world. Right now I have close friends all over Europe, in Australia, in Singapore, in Philippines, in South Africa. I mean, these are friends that we actually meet up when I travel. I touch base with them, and it's all come across through business and through the networks that we've established. But it becomes so much more than that. It becomes so powerful when you develop these relationships, and that's how me and you got to meet as well and develop our friendship. So I want to take a step back. There's a lot that I want to talk about here, but first things first. You were talking about being in Ecuador and your family being involved in both interior design and architecture and government and all these things, which makes a lot of sense. Now I can see why you have the brain that you have and the visions that you have. It all comes together for me when you tell me that. But at what point did you move from Ecuador over to Italy? What was that journey like? Take me back to the starting point.
Well, I graduated 2007 in Chile. I was very lucky to study. Well, I finished my school. Then I did my exchange program in Germany for a year. Then I fell in love of design and to see Germany full of art, happiness in the product, but also a very practical life. Design has the power to make life easy. So in that sense, for me, it was my passion to explore into this world. But my life start or my story started in a very early age. And I was 6 years old when I started exploring creativity. And I remember it was I was always a collector, and one of the things I love always to collect was footwear. And I took the laces from old sneakers and I started creating a key holder. And then the key holder, I showed my parents, my friend, and I was, oh my goodness, that's so cool. Then I say, okay, I will sell. Like I went to the corner in my house, it was a store. And I said to the guy, hey, can you sell this? I would like, and he says, yeah, of course. Like I give you $1, sucre in Ecuador. We have sucre that is the coin, or was the coin. Now we have dollars. But he said, okay, you have one sucre. I have one sucre. I said, perfect. And then I saw the power, how this income gave me the possibility perhaps to go for candies, to invite my friends, to have extra, something extra that I can manage, and that I like it very much. Then I start selling ice cream, lemonade, juice, everything in the garage of my house. Not because of a need. Like honestly, we I came from a middle class family. My father was always working on a way that never missed nothing at home, and I was very lucky on that side. But just my father, at the same time that he provided family, he teach me the power of work, and he teach me that is you don't have any problem by working. It's the opposite. Like if you go to work, you will feel better because you have something to share. So then they were always promoting, and like my mom, no, but be careful, like you're so young to be in the street selling this, like don't cross the street or something like that. And I was in the garage of my house with a table, and I have a cousin like my age, so I start with her decorating, the garage, like a very cool stuff, and that is how I started. But until 2011, it was until 2011 that I moved to a different city. And in this, when I moved, I also was moving on my age. I was from a child to a adolescent, from 11, like 11, 12 years. And I have a lot of crayons in my house because every Christmas, my family, my friends, like my people gave me crayons because I love to draw. But now I was big, and I didn't want to use crayons, but I didn't want it to trash, like to throw away in the trash. And so then I took all these crayons, I select by color, and then I in the kitchen I create like I just dissolve them and I create a huge candle and full of colors, different colors of the crayons. And then it was a champagne bottle, a huge champagne bottle. I broke the glass, and then I have an incredible candle. And I put it just in the middle of the house, and
Wow.
I went to train because I was playing tennis. And then I came back, and my mom was with her friends, and everybody was like, "Oh my goodness, Felipe, you create this candle! Oh, how much it costs? I also want one of this." And I said $2. And she said, $2? Oh my goodness, I want 10 of them. And the other, no, me too. I want 8, and I want
You
10.
upped your
And
price.
yeah, I have no idea,
I
man. My
love that
first
you upped your price, but you still undersold it. They're like, wow, it's cheap.
exactly. I concrete orders. So I have 100 candles. It was my first order. And then I went to the store and I asked, hey, how much
Wow.
cost the crayons? Impossible. How much cost the candles? To buy candles and to sell? Impossible. So I came to my father and I said, man, I think I did a mistake because I asked for €2 and it's very expensive to buy paraffin and to create a candle of this size and this aesthetic. So he said, don't worry, like let's try with chemicals. Well, because at that time it was not internet. I'm talking about 2000, no, 1996. And I went. He gave me the book of the yellow book that was the telephone to find companies, to find industries, and he said search some chemicals,
Mhm.
perhaps they can help you. Then I called the chemical, like, hello, do you have paraffin? Because I was so child that I was trying to fake my voice as an old guy. And then the people were like, yes, yes, we have paraffin. How much? Like 20 kilos, 50 kilos. Man, I have no idea how is 20 kilos, 50 kilos, no idea. And then I asked my father, like, how much 50 kilos is? And he said, like, this is a lot. And how much it cost? It was like €20. He said, buy that. Buy this, and then you can
Wow.
do the 100 candles for sure. Like you have material enough. So then I bought colors, etc. And from that until 17 years, when I was 17 years old, I created this company and become one of the most interesting candle companies in Ecuador. I started selling in the three biggest cities in Ecuador. I start creating new techniques to develop candles, like to I was exploring in the kitchen always with things like, my mom has the mixer. Okay, let's try in the mixer. The boiler, let's try in the boiler. And with this process of exploring, I create seven new technologies and three like scales of production, three lines of production. And then I saw the power, and I think this conversation is so beautiful because you drive me into my childhood, and a lot of memories come out. And I saw the power that that design has, not only to put my creativity or ideas out or to make a business and to reach some money, but it was the power of design to transform my neighborhood because I start creating jobs. And then I contract the guy in the corner, and I was, hey, listen, I have my friend, my one of very big friends of my neighborhood was the guy who collect trash, you know, and I asked him, man, I have this bottle of champagne, I need 100 of this, and he was like, but this size is impossible. I do my best. I said, listen, bring 100 bottles, like the most cool bottles that you can find, like the more strange shapes, whatever, like bring like. So then he came like the next day with a huge pack of bottles, empty bottles, and then I started the production of the 100 candles. So yeah, this was beautiful because then I did my first production, and then I saw so much trash, like plastic, glass, and I say, "Oh my goodness, this is horrible." You know, I feel so bad with myself to destroy all these plastics. And I said, "No, I need to create molds, something that I can reuse." So then I went to the guy in the neighborhood, the one who was worked the metal, the things for the rain. You know, this kind of holder for the rain, this kind of
Right.
channels for. So I say, hey, listen, I need a circle, a cylinder. And he says, no, no, child, go ahead. Like, I cannot do that. So then I came back the next day, hey, do you know, I need this. No, 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 go ahead. I cannot do that. I go, listen, I already designed what you need to do. How much do you gain for that? And he said, like, the meter costs like €5. Do you have money to pay me €5? I say, no, I will pay you 10, but I need you to do it on a very good quality. So this has to be perfect circle. And then the candle can come up, but I don't need any line here of the soldier. So he was kind of okay, trying to think, okay, how can I do it? At the end, he created, and it was incredible mold. Then I started giving more money that he was normally gaining, and like this I start not only doing candles but also candy holders, and I start diversifying the production. Then I did the wedding of the mayor daughter. They contract me to decorate the full wedding with candles. It was an incredible wedding, just by candles, creating things. Then I did the
Wow.
circle, the square, the triangle, the star, the heart, all the molds, different techniques with eyes, with the mixer, with everything. So at the end was this journey, what shows me the power of design. So when I finished at 17 years old, when I moved to Germany, I already have very clear vision of what I want to do. Also, what is super important to have the right advice on the right time. My cousin came to me and she said, Felipe, you're so crazy. Like, because I was creating cars, I created a tattoo machine, I created this candle that was my business. And she said, you are not an architect, you are not a graphic designer. You have to see product design, because everything what you do is on different scale, is products. And I have no idea, but when I went in Germany, I realized what product design is. And then I decided to study product design. I moved to Chile to do my career, and my career was done in one of the more difficult schools in Chile. Like Harvard from Chile is Universidad de Chile, and this is a social university. So all these 5 years, I was focused to add value to society through design. And if you came up with a project that you say, hey, I did this because this is one of my masterpieces. This is made out of crystal growing directly into the upper, and the purpose of this is to be dissolved into the ocean. And yes, it's super cool, the aesthetic, the material exploration, but it has a
Yeah, it
purpose.
looks
And
amazing. I was just gonna say that looks so nice.
then the idea of this to create things with purpose start from there, from the university, with this social vision. And then you see how to help people, how to bring things to make a planet better your economy, make you growth, make you be different, like totally different. And yeah, that's how I started in let's say my whole story. And when I did my bachelor as industrial designer, then 2007, I have the first opportunity to create something. like officially to put something out as a designer, and it was a huge responsibility. So I was thinking, what can I do? Like, if I have to do like a fridge, a car, like a lamp, industrial design is to any product that you want to create. So I saw the power of artisans when I was working in Ecuador, and I say I would like to mix craft and technology. And then research into the craft and into the natural fibers, because I always respect nature. It was my base of inspiration always. I found a fiber very similar to the coconut that is extremely resistant. And I say, okay, what if I mix this on a technological product, an airplane? So I created the first drone in 2007. And this drone, before the name drone came to the market, this was an unmanned vehicle airplane, UFB, UAB. And this UAB was
Got it.
created full of craft and with the artisans and with the technology. And I produced the plane. I did a partnership with another university, Universidad Bio Bio, and then I was able to produce the drone. And it was like my thesis project. And with this, I won like the best student of the summa cum laude, etc. And this allowed me a credential from United Nations that they recognize me an innovator in sustainability. So sustainability starts in 2007 with this project. Then I moved to Ecuador. I created my company, Reino Studios. So Reino, it was the company where craft, technology, and creativity was connected, and I was developing products and interior design. I lead this company during 10 years. We grew very much. It was an incredible project. I started with my cousin, then my brother came to manage the company. We grew, we scale. And in 2016, we have a crazy earthquake in Ecuador. And it was the opportunity when I say, because I always was having like the storytelling that design has the social power to transform lives. And I said to my team, guys, like, it's not about to put the black strap in Instagram or Facebook. It's about people lost the father, lost the daughter, lost the mom. You lost your house, your whole work, your car, everything. It's not the only material thing, but you lost everything. So let's take everything from office, because I have a lot of machines to do prototypes, to CAD, a lot of industrial machines. So I took all this, we put it in a container, and we went to the earthquake area to do a diagnostic and to start rebuilding, to start regrowing these affected communities. So, um, short story, in 6 months we became the fastest project of earth like planet, not planet, sorry, Ecuador recovery. After the earthquake, we won the biennale, the architectural biennale, as the fastest project to rebuild the communities. United Nations came first. I locked the doors, and they saw my project. The name of the project is I Love Ecuador. For people who is joining this podcast, they can go to do a research in YouTube. You can find some of the videos of I Love Ecuador. It was the project, and it was like the Hilses was the territory where we started with that. Then Fundación Telefónica, the Telefónica is the biggest mobile company. IBM from computers, United Nations, they start putting capital to found the project, the vision I have created with on 5 lines. So it was until I finished this project, 2017, that I was thinking like hungry for more. I was like, I need to do, like, I would like to do this for the whole planet. Like, we can create this kind of impact of development, accelerated development all over the world. And then I did the jump of quality. So in 2018, I decided to move to Italy. And everybody was like, Felipe, are you crazy? Like, how are you going to do a master's degree? If you're the master of Ecuador, you're the best designer of Ecuador, you can create trains, the most beautiful building, hotels, and you're going to do shoes. Like, how? Nobody was understanding why. And the why is the first
Hmm.
time I'm telling this. The why is because this is just the starting. This is just the first step into the industry to make a big transformation, because fashion industry is the second more polluting industry in the world, and there's a lot of things to do, but it's necessary to start with something specific and to become the best on that. So you have recognition, you have the credentials to move to the next level and to the next level. and yeah, that's why I'm here. In 2022, I left Ferragamo. It was an incredible experience. I learned a lot, and then I have this vision to move forward. It was a time when I started gaining a lot of prizes. People was ready for innovation. People was hungry for new things, and I was like, okay, it's time to do it. Like it's time to start a new company. And I, for me, it's normal. Many people also in Ferragamo, many people was like, "Are you crazy, Felipe? Well, you're living the most one of the most beautiful companies. Like everybody want to work here. Like, are you crazy? Why are you living that? Like, I want to start my brand.
Hmm.
And everybody's, are you crazy? It's so hard to start a brand. It's not hard. It's not hard. And then I start
Yeah,
like,
I
because
love that.
yeah, I think this conversation, and I love, when you invited me to this podcast, I told you like super happy to be part of this, because I know what you are doing and how you're pushing people
Mhm.
skills to a next level. And I think it's very important to have
Mhm.
these kind of conversations, and to contaminate on a good way each other, right? And to understand how somebody start. And many people is the borders, the barriers are money, family, social position. Like, man, it's not nothing about that. It's about who you are and what you want to do. What is, I have to confess that is so important, is to have a family or somebody who guide you, right? Who guide your talent on a very early age.
Mhm.
That's why everybody has to have a mentor, somebody who can give you an advice to make the best of you and to put it out. um, Without my
Mhm.
parents, without the capability they have on me to trust me, even though when I sell my car, I sell the company, I sell the office, I sell everything to move to Italy, it was like, what are you doing? I said, don't worry, like, next step. I said, okay, there you go. I love you. Good luck.
No, you're
And
absolutely right. I
that
want
day,
to just interject here because I totally agree with you. And first of all, I didn't even know that story about your candle business when you were young and how you developed that entire thing. That's just incredible. There were, I don't know if you realize, but there were so many lessons in that story that entrepreneurs can draw and take away and apply to their own businesses nowadays. There was a lot in there that you discussed, from your just courage to try new ideas, develop new product lines, and from the relationships you built, the connections, telling the garbage man to bring you bottles, telling the other gentleman to make you a mold, but giving him standards and requirements. Those are all relationships. That's essentially outsourcing or delegating, as we would call it nowadays. We just put fancy words on it. You were just a young guy who was passionate, who was just making it happen, which I love, right? And scaling that business. And then, like you said, good advice, good mentorship is so important. You had, I think you said it was your cousin who told you should go into product design because that's what you do best. That's amazing feedback
yeah,
that you got really young. And it seems like your dad also did an amazing job. I mean, your whole family was very supportive. Your dad telling you, call them up, making you do the cold call,
yeah,
which
yes,
is
exactly.
a skill in itself.
Give me the
And,
Bible.
get the
It's like,
products, get the,
here you have the Bible. Search
exactly,
for
yeah,
the name. It
the
was like,
yellow
okay,
pages. Yeah, he's like, I'm not giving it to you. Here's the yellow pages. Here's the leads list, as we would call it in sales. You make the call yourself and figure it out. You make it happen. I love that. I think that's the right way to guide not just your child, a younger person, but that's the right way to teach, to push them in the right direction, but then have them develop that themselves. So there were a lot of story, a lot of nuggets you could draw from that story. So I really like that. And then in terms of your path, I want to ask you a quick question. So you went from Ecuador to you said Chile and then Germany, or Germany and then
first
Chile,
Germany, first Germany,
and
then
then
Chile.
Italy, one way or another.
17 years old, I went to Germany. 18 years old, I went to Chile. 21, I went to Mexico for exchange program inside my university. Then 2007, I went back to Ecuador to start a company. Then 2017 was the 16 was the earthquake. 17, I went to China. We got invited by the government to pull new politics and to drive new. And then when was starting in politics, I say no. I at first I want to do business. Like, I love politics, but it's a lot of
Mhm.
things there that I don't like. And I'm a maker. I'm designer. I'm innovator. I'm a maker. And I say I will need to do money first, and then I will come back to Ecuador to do politics and everywhere. Like in Italy, I will manage this country. I would love to help this country because there's so much talent, so many resources that
Sure.
are bad, bad guidance. And yeah, there's a I think this is my commit is biggest than doing shoes. My commit is making cities better, making countries better. And it was coincidence this morning. I found an article in 2018 that I wrote for a Leaders, that is a magazine, kind of Forbes. And I was writing about smart cities, right? The future of smart cities, because 2017, after the earthquake, people started recognizing me as a leader of cities. And then I was invited to Mexico when the earthquake in Oaxaca happens. They called me, hey, Felipe, please bring your knowledge, what we need to do. So it was beautiful to this path. And luxury is kind of opposite. The one is social, 100% social side. The other is luxury, like business, money, that we think is money, but the reality is the luxury is culture, and this luxury is what manage all the other things. So is there where I'm here. Like, it's not easy to enter into the fashion industry, even worse to enter in the luxury industry, and not in your country, in the best country of fashion in the world, like one of the best capitals of fashion. There are many talent there, many people doing business, doing new brands. And I have been gaining, I become this year the most awarded designer of footwear in the world. And this is incredible because I'm not behind these awards. I'm behind a change that these awards came along, and this is beautiful. I have an incredible team. I have my people. We're a very small team, but with the same vision. And I think the power to find your pairs, to find your people on the side. I am used to work with the best people. When I called you, when I wrote to you and message in Instagram, I was like, okay, mentors. Like, I need to enter this business, big sales. I need to do big sales. So then I contacted you. Wrote you. I have a beautiful feedback from you, very fast answer, and like this, I'm always locking doors. It's like it's not nothing easy that comes along. It's a lot of work, a big vision, the first thing, and then as you mentioned, like small things that start building the other things. Now I am like when I was 13 years old. I'm in the exactly same time, starting a new business, having no clue how does it is
Mhm.
and how I have to manage this business, because it has a different scale and it has a lot of other variants and requirements, etc. And I'm here. I'm ready.
I love it. So let me ask you a couple questions about the mentality here, because it really is standing out to me, and I think this is going to be really valuable to our audience. From Ecuador, Chile, Germany, China, Mexico, Italy, everything that you've done, you took a lot of risks. You were willing to get up and pursue opportunity. It seems like you weren't the type of person to take no for an answer. It seems like you were always very solution oriented, very creative with the path that you want to take. What allowed you to have that mindset? And if there's business owners, entrepreneurs that want that same mentality, they have big goals and ambitions and they want to pursue that, but they have fear, doubt crippling them. They don't really know how to pursue that. How do you have so much courage to pursue these big ambitious goals? What advice would you give?
I'll say three things. One is God, is the faith. I have a faith that nothing can break me. Like, I have a faith, and I know what I'm doing is not from me. It's something bigger who drive my talent, who drive my capability. What I do has an impact, and that's incredible. Like, and this is not me; it's a gift. Whatever I touch, I create, people love it. It's like, oh my goodness, and these people get crazy, and this is a gift. So you need to be able to find your gift. To give the chance yourself to recognize what I'm good in, because everyone has something incredible in. Sometimes affected by the society, by your group of friends, by your parents, by your family, each one has a different story. Thanks God, I have a family who protect me, and who not the word is not protect me, who support me. Because they didn't protect me. That was also good. They never protect me. When I have to go to find the candles, the paraffin, they put me on a bus, and my mom was to my father, "Are you crazy? How are you sending, like, with 14 years to Quito?" He was like, "Listen, I have my work, and he is very smart guy. He can do it. Like, he's already 14 years old. Like when I was 14
Hmm.
years old, I lost my father. My dad was telling me story, and I was managing like parts of the family of my house. So he can do it with 14. And then he went. I remember he went to the bus. He asked the guy next to me, "Hey, he's my child. Like, what you do?" Like he started a conversation with him, and then at the end he said, "Can you please like take care of my child until he arrived in Quito?" And he was, "Yeah, yeah, of course." Then I did a friendship with this guy, you know. So if you don't take risks, it's impossible to move forward. So the first thing for me is faith. The faith is something that every day, even though when people come to me, not sometimes, every day, to say, "Are you sure? Like, are you crazy? Are you sure what you want?" It's like the faith. Even in the more crazy situation, I have faith that what I was rebelled on my hands and my mind is something that is mine, and I will not stop until I see it done. The second thing I would say is discipline. Like to be able to
Mm.
wake up every day and to do things. Like do things like work. It's like everything school, like girls, in my case, parties, like friends, everything is amazing. And I am a very social person. And I was able to surround of people who has kind of my same mindset. And if not, they respect who I am. I have these two groups of friends. One is the ones who are in my mindset, and I have the other that are my followers, the people who I inspire, and I can give an advice. And these
Mhm.
people that is the perhaps more simple people, perhaps the people who I learned the most, and pushing boundaries, helping them, I'm helping myself. So the discipline, the third, I would say discipline and determination goes together. Discipline and determination,
Mhm.
like to make the
Sure.
task. And the third is self-esteem, authority, and yeah, self-confidence. If you don't value yourself, if you don't talk well about yourself, it's impossible to make it. It's impossible to make anybody to respect you. So you need to know who you are and how
Mhm.
big is the value you have. The value of your ideas, the value of your vision, the value of your talent, the value of yourself, of your heart, of your like how to say sentiments. The feelings that you have,
Mhm.
and this is all together like body, soul, and spirit.
I think that's a great answer. And what's really interesting is the third piece comes from the first two. If you have faith in a higher power, faith in a God, if you have that type of faith, and then if you have self discipline to get up every day, do the work, start to see the results, you'll start to develop that confidence as well and have more faith in yourself, have more belief in yourself, and that becomes a self fulfilling prophecy. That becomes a positive cycle that you can continue to develop. I have a couple follow up questions on this because this is really interesting to me. This area for me is where I'm really passionate because I like to look at high performers like yourself and really dig into their mind, dig into their psychology. This is what I live for. Honestly, I love this. So I want to ask you. You said everybody has a gift, and you should try to find that gift. You should try to tap into that gift. I said at the beginning of this call, what I notice about you is you're very much on purpose. You have a passion. So if there's somebody out there, whether it's a younger person or somebody who's in between different stages in their lives and their careers, and they're confused right now, they're not sure what their gift is. They're not sure where they need to double down and spend their time. And then I'll ask you about time later as well. But for that person, what advice do you have on finding your gift, finding your path?
Pray pray like the answer is inside of you. Like you pray and you have an answer. Like it's very deep and it's very personal. You cannot find out, you need to find it in. It's something that you need to find it in. And an exercise I do very much with the people when I coach, is to drive them into the childhood and to see yourself when you were a very child, before the first memory you have. What was that thing that wake you up, and that passion that you have it to to go out of your house, or to go to the garden, or it was to sit in the sofa, or it was to take some air, or it was to go to breathe. Like what was that first memory, very first memory you have? My first memory is playing in the garden after a rainy day, and it was like a lot of insects coming out of the earth, and I was taking them and I started exploring. I was taking like destroying the insect. My mom was like, "What are you doing? Like, be careful! Like, it will be bit." Like, and it's like I was
Yeah.
taking bees. Like, it was a lot of times like bit by bees, but it was my curiosity. And now
Mhm.
when I see my aesthetics, for example, this is an upcycled upper, like fully upcycled, imitating the python without killing an animal. It's just by an interlocking, not glue, not a stitch. But if you see in macro, when I was seeing the insects and the anatomies that they have, the geometries that they have, it was this. Or when I'm doing an engineering outsole, when I'm creating a piece of outsole, this engineering, I saw it in the on the leaf, like this micro engineering of nature. I was fascinated since I was a child. And this collecting information, for me now, here is my library. And when I have to design, I put up some lines and ideas that has harmony, because the harmony is already inside of me, because I was training my whole life my eyes. In my case, my eyes, my hand, my mind, my capability to observe, but to create a content in your inside of your mind, like great questions. And yeah, this you can find if you go inside of yourself and you pray and you ask the God you have, the person you have there. Ask what why you are here and what you are good in. So there is people who is incredible to speak. There is people who's incredible to make things. There's people who's incredible in force. There's people who's incredible encouraging others. There's people, each one has an incredible gift. And then you just need to think, how can I monetize? But if you put your talent, your gift, your capability inside of a university of careers, perhaps you get lost, because the university, I was very lucky that industrial design was a career. But there's a lot of people that their task or
Mhm.
their talent is not on a career. It's not written down as a profession.
Mhm.
But the profession of doing industrial design, biology, sorry, craft, entrepreneurship mindset, there was not a university. It's myself discovering what I am and how I can push this to the next level. And I'm not tired. I remember my brother, like he in 2018, when I say I'm going to do my master's degree, he was, bro, like, man, like you have done like already everything. Like, don't go to study. Are you losing your time? Like, are you crazy? You don't need to study nothing. You need to go to do money in Italy. And it's, yes, I understand his perspective, because his perspective was multiply money in the business. It was growing thanks him. The company I have in Ecuador was incredibly growing on a crazy way, because he was amazing in marketing. He was an incredible PR, and he was very good in business. But what I wanted was a jump of quality, not a jump of money. It was not in the equation capital at that time. It was, I sell everything. I will have 2 years capital, and then with this money I will improve. I want to understand what luxury is. How these people go work there, like how is established that order. And you need to sacrifice. You need to sacrifice
Mhm.
a lot of things. You cannot have everything.
Just to give you my 2 cents here, what I'm gathering, and I think that's going to be really practical for everybody, is to find that gift and to find really where your purpose is. One is prayer and asking for help, asking for answers, I guess you could say, to get that clarity so that you can continue to move in that right direction. The other is what really sticks out to me is self-reflection, is doing a deep dive on yourself, reflecting, looking back at your childhood, figuring out early memories, looking at where you naturally always gravitate towards. Some of the best advice I've heard in terms of finding your gift and finding your path, a mentor of mine once told me to go grab a bunch of books, different topics, books on history, books on science, books on business, and open up 4 or 5 books at the same time and read a chapter here, read a chapter there, a page here, a page there. Just switch it up and just get different ideas. And what you learn from that is where you gravitate towards, something you read that might really interest you. Something you read, you might think, that's not interesting to me at all. And then you figure out where you naturally gravitate, and then you mix, or I guess you could say you intertwine that passion with your natural inclinations, with your circle of competence, with what you do well. And then I think pairing those together is the recipe for that. So clearly, you found that in your life. Now, I wanted to ask you a follow up question, and then we'll continue on everything else that you're doing. By the way, I love that you have all the footwear and the arts and designs there. Every now and then you pull up one. I got to figure out where to get some of these shoes.
Yeah, yeah. This
Afterwards, we're gonna talk.
you should come next time you come to the office. I would love to have you here.
100%. So my follow-up question for you was in terms of time and time prioritization. I mean, you said your brother told you, if you go and do your master's degree, you're not going to have all the time in the world to focus on work and business and everything you should be doing. And I think people that get busy like you are, and I know how busy you are, that's why I'm asking you this question, it gets harder and harder to prioritize your time. It gets harder and harder to have family, social life, everything else, but also work on big, massive goals. So how do you go about structuring your day, structuring your week, your month, your time? How do you handle that?
Well, perhaps is one of my biggest weakness. Like time is like I would love to have more time. What I learned is that I can never put the time before me. I have when I was designing the train. I'm well, one thing. Since I am child, I'm a very extreme careful in all the details. The things has to be done on a good way. Like for me, like if I do something, I have to do it great. Otherwise, it's better not to do it. Like if I commit something, it's like I will do it incredible, high quality, high level. We cannot compete by doing things. We need to compete by quality. By the extra hours. And this, as exactly the words say, this extra hour requires more time. It's like work is smart, yes, but work the extra hour. That will always bless you, will always bring something new there. And I remember when I was in the school, in the university, a lot of friends of me, like around going to grab a beer, right? Hey man, like let's go to grab a beer. Like today I cannot, tomorrow crazy party. Like if I have time I'll do it, but I enjoy that time like incredibly. An amazing party. But if today I
Mhm.
cannot, I prefer not to go to party today. I use that time, so I am kind of managing time on a specific tasks, specific things. But whatever I do has to be highly intense emotional or highly intense capital monetization or growing goals. That these two, or you go with family and you enjoy with them the weekend and you don't do any email, you don't answer any email, or you go and you answer all the emails and you have no time for family that day. Like I'm like a person
Mhm.
of extremes. Like I prefer to task this thing, and my friends, they get used to that, and also another very important thing is to surround the people who understand you. Man, I just won a designer of the planet in Milano. Imagine the honor of being selected the best designer of the year in Italy, representing Italy, not being an Italian. It's like, oh my goodness, I was in the Palazzo Giuriconsulti next to Duomo. We launched the collection, and I was the only designer representing Italy, and then other representing each countries. That was Milan. Now I went to India. In Delhi, I launched my very first fashion collection together with a collaboration with a local designer. And it's the first time I saw my shoes on a catwalk, in a runway, a complete collection. And I won designer circular design challenge Europe as the best sustainable designer of Europe, and I won the runner up of the global final. It was in Delhi, and I was the runner up designer of the planet with all this technology, because these technologies are in growing and developing, and we are not yet in the market selling biology, but the project has such an impact that they choose it as the most circular design emergent project that is coming, right? So it's like, oh my goodness, these credentials are not only credentials and honors, is a commitment, is a responsibility. So now my time has to be multiplied for that. It's like every day you grow, you need more time. You need more time. So I think the capability to build a good team is fundamental. To have your number two, um, to empower them, to teach them with example, with yourself. That is not easy. Like there's so many emotions, there is so many things in the middle of the table. Like the new generation, like also millennial, but Gen Z, like generation, extremely sensitive, and this is an incredible opportunity. It's a beautiful
Mm.
opportunity, but at the same time, it's something that you need to manage. You need to work with it. That is why it's so important. The emotional intelligence is what is going to drive the new generation
Mhm.
in success. Like we have all the tools to succeed, but it has to be managed. That talent, there is a lot of informalism in the sector that I don't like. Too much flexibility sometimes that, like, I think that's why many startups don't progress, don't go forward, don't move forward. So it has to be this um, kind of flexibility, super cool life, but let's do things well, right? Like, let's prioritize and let's keep both. I think the right equilibrium between the two areas is always good. Also, another thing that I can advise, like, is to try not to have any kind of distraction, like, alcohol, drugs, or things like that can take too much attention, um, will destroy you. Like porno, like there's so many people who is losing their talent, their power, their capabilities, because not having right guides, or not having what good surrounded, the friends, the people who is around you. Values are connected with success, you know like high performance, high values.
Mm.
That's it. Like, good spirit, a
Yes.
good person, good progress. Otherwise, you can have money, but you will suicide. You will end bad, and that's very common. It's not about making money. It's about making the best of you, the best of yourself, and then the money will come back.
You're bringing so much value today, man. This is one of my favorite podcasts I've done to date. And I know we're friends, but this is very inspiring to me. We're friends on a personal level, but when we talk about these conversations, you're inspiring me right now. This is one that I'm personally going to re listen to myself later. And I have to sit down and actually take in everything that you're saying afterwards. You said so many things that were very valuable that I just know at my core have been true for me as well. And I know it's coming from a real place. It's coming from a place of experience, not theory. Now, I want to ask you this. You said something about the new generation and how there's a lot of distractions out there, and how your success is directly correlated to your personal values, and not to waste all your time, waste your energy, get distracted, get pulled. In today's world, social media, the noise, news, negativity, there's so much out there that is distracting people. And you're absolutely right. It's taken away from your gift because it's pulling all your energy, that power that you hold inside you, towards a negative, pointless direction. How do you, or what would you advise others to, stay on the path, to not get distracted, not get sucked into these vortexes? Like, is there a way that you combat distractions?
Yeah, I think the passion do it itself. The passion drive you on in focus. And if you have a boyfriend, girlfriend, or somebody in your side, choose the right people. Like, choose the right person, because if you have a passion, it's very easy to lose your passion because of love, or to lose your passion because of friendships that will pull you in a different direction. So I have been, since I'm a child, I'm a very, like, not selfish at all. I'm very, I love my people, but in this side, I'm extremely focused in who I am. And I wanted to tell you, it was my best friend here visiting me, like, in Cámara de la Moda, in this event, in my when I received the award 3 weeks ago. He's living in Switzerland. So we met, like, after perhaps 3-4 years, or more, but we have not seen each other really properly since we were roommates in Chile. So now he came and he saw all
Wow.
this success, like all these prices, everything. He said, only one crazy guy as him can make it happen. Like, he was always focused in to do it. Like, I'm talking about 2007. He was talking this to my parents, to his mom, that were, and my girlfriend, that people was there. And he was kind of a speech in front of the old people. And he's only, you have to be crazy in love in what you do to achieve, to be the number one in the world. Like, this passion, this commitment with yourself, with the others, Like this not sleeping, because when I was rooming with him, I was sleeping 3 4 hours, man. Like it's not time to sleep. When you have a passion, you don't need 8 hours, you don't need 10 hours, you need few hours. And people is like, no, this is documentary prove it that you need more hours. Like, don't worry about that thing. There is so much noise out. But what is important is to feel yourself. How much you need. If you need 5 hours, do it 5 hours. If you need 8 hours, 10 hours, do whatever you want and whatever you need. But recognize that the time is limited. And if in the other hours you can commit your goals and your dreams, then sleep 15 hours if you can make it. But if you are not making to sleep 15 hours
Mm.
and you need to sacrifice something, or you sacrifice time with your friends or sacrifice sleeping hours, you need to sacrifice something if you really want to do it. And the other thing is there is a lot of friends opposite of my friend, because when it happens, like when I say they were, Juan, let's today we have a mega party, Felipe, let's go, I don't know, another city. It was like impossible. And the next day, hey, we go, we have this incredible people. You know, it was a story. I remember a story of my ex-girlfriend, that they were so tired to receiving my notes every day because it was in final exam. So it was no, no, no. That they say to, they they told this group of friends, or the girls that we met next to our apartment, they told that I am very nerdy guy, like super nerd guy, and the only thing you can talk with me is about kind of philosophy, like like biology, sorry, and kind of topic geography. So the next day, the people came to the house, all these girls, and
Hmm.
everybody was to me like, hey, and what about the economy? What do you think about the economy? It was no idea. And wait, what about the geography? You know, this no, no, no idea. You know, like such a question that I was not understanding nothing. And then the girl was like, but your friend told us that you never left the room because you are studying the full day. And I said, oh my goodness, there's like, no,
Yeah.
it's not that I'm studying. I'm doing things because I'm doing prototypes, you know. I was creating an airplane, and every
Right.
day you need to polish and you need to come. It's not that I was with the books. I was doing my stuff. So it's incredible how your people or make you growth or destroy you, right? It's like my people, my friends, they were always like making me grow such in such a way. They were covering me like to cook, they were covering me to do payments, they were covering me, and when I can do it, I was retrieving that. You know, it was kind of everything was negotiation. Who cooks tonight? You know, simple things as that. Like, hey Juan, like Felipe, it's your
Right.
your turn. And I was, hey, can you please cover this? I will do the weekend like double, two meals, you know. And it was okay, okay, yeah, let's do it. So it's kind
Hmm.
of everything is a negotiation. And if you have the power to believe in your talent and to keep forward focus and not to doubt, then everything will come together. You know, the people who will be around will support you. And this happened in Ecuador before, and now my family, my friends in Italy is exactly the same. All them trust so much in what I'm doing that they know if I'm focused, I am focused. If I can enjoy, we will enjoy like in the best way. You know, we'll have incredible party.
Sure. I love that. And I have a very similar mindset where I'm very extreme. It's either 100% yes or 100% no. And I don't have any in between gears. You know, I don't do anything half in, half out. And I also really prioritize my time. You know, when I was younger, people would get mad at me, same as you, right? And not going to events, not going to parties, not, you know, never being there. You know, a lot of my close friends would say, you know, you never hang out or you never spend time or you're always busy, you're always working, you know, come spend some time with us. But then over time, people start to realize and they start to respect that. So, you know, I would say if a younger person is listening to this or somebody who's starting a business and their spouse or anybody's giving them a hard time right now, that's a phase and you can work yourself out of that phase. But first, you have to prove to yourself and everybody else that you're serious about what you're doing, that you're committed to what you're doing. Only then will you have their respect. And then only then will they actually support you in that direction. But there's a phase where you're going to get pushback. You're going to get hurdles. You're going to get obstacles in your path. And you're better off, you know, continuing that path. Otherwise, it's very easy to get thrown off. I wanted to say one more thing that you said earlier. I didn't get a chance to acknowledge it, but it was so powerful that I have to acknowledge it. You said, I wrote this down because it was such an important note for me. You said you want to compete through quality. And I was actually going to ask you, in a hyper competitive space like the fashion industry, like a lot of different businesses where, a lot of our clients work in, it's always a factor to think about. How do I separate myself? How do I do better work? How do I rise above the industry? And I love your mindset and I can relate to so much of your mindset. And when you said you compete through quality by creating quality work, putting in more hours, just doing better work than everybody else, that's how you separate yourself. That really resonated with me. Um, can you expand on that idea of competing through quality and rising above the entire industry?
Well, quality, I think, is something that will always go connected with the details, the attention in the details. So if you create a new business and you divide the big idea, the big problem into small micro, like in small problems, and the problem into small micro problem, and the micro problem in the micro problem, like the most of and you start resolving all this, the very, very small until the big. When you resolve all the problems, like, oh my goodness, like this is really bold, like what you did, how you did that. Many people ask me when I was also in our company in Ecuador, interior design and architecture, we were creating franchises. We became the number one company for franchises in Ecuador when nobody was creating franchises. Everybody, the designers were taking a magazine, copying the design, putting it into a copy into a store. The copy was so common, and design is still being very common. To be a designer is to copy things from other. And people were like, "Hey, Felipe, how much?" Like, I have a contest of this interior design, so the winner will receive 500 euros for the design of a restaurant. And I was like, "What?" Like, I'm not interested. Like, that is because it's gonna come the best design. Amazing, like, congrats. But 500 euros for a month of work, like, are you crazy? And it's a contest. Like, if you are not contracting my service, your contest is a contest with the winner. Man, I'm not in. But you're just starting. Like, you should apply to that. Like, you just came back to Ecuador. Like, perhaps this open opportunity was meant, like, could open a lot of opportunities. But 500 euros, like, is like unrespect myself, because what I do, my work is not to go to copy a magazine and to put in your store. My work is to go to research your business, to detect what are the problems that you have, and to analyze the industry, to analyze the competitors, and to create the best for you, specialize in your market, in your target, in your product. So the product, the thing I would put it out is something very relevant that make you win thousands of euros. So I'm not in because 500 is unrespectful to pay for a month of work, and then is kind of contest. I'm not in. Man, I changed so many people with this Discord, and they came to me and was like, "But it's just a draw, man. Like, it's just a draw." I was okay. That's a draw, it's your whole career. I have the capability to create. And this is a process of 14, 20 years creating things that I can come up with a good idea out. But without research, the idea has any value. So you need to go research, you need to test, you need to improve. So the advice for excellence is to go deep in all the details of the problem, to open things and analyze the things that looks obvious. These small things that looks obvious are not obvious, and is the place where you can find and add value. And this is how I innovate in the footwear industry. In 2 years, I became the best designer of the world. Like, I was recognized as by Ferragamo the best designer of the world, and I just switched the career. And it was, oh my goodness, wow, how so many, like, so much creativity, how you came up with this. And it's not because I'm doing 2 years footwear, it's because since a child I'm looking how to make difference, how to change the things from the basis. So if the problem in the planet is that 22.7 billions of sneakers, I throw it into the ocean, and from this the 97% is indestructible and is not biodegradable. We are putting 97% of the 22.7 billions into the ocean. I was, oh my goodness, I need to create a shoe that you put it into the ocean and dissolve. It has to be a biodegradable, like complete biodegradable sneaker. So then I came up with the algae shoe. and it's the first shoe that can be eaten by fish. After the use of the shoe, you throw it into the ocean, and the fish goes to eat. Not only that you can throw, but start a new cycle that is food for fish. And then is how I come up
Mm.
with ideas. Is how to resolve problems through design, or through a music, or through a strategy, or through like whatever you have as a skill, but go to resolve problems and not go to do solutions. That is how to become
Yeah,
a high performance, high quality, or high resolver, problem resolver.
I appreciate the fact that you pick and choose your battles and you know your worth, you know the value of your time. I think that's really important for every entrepreneur, especially if you're looking to again maximize your time. I want to ask you one more business question, and then we'll start to wrap this up. I've taken up a lot of your time as well. Um, I wanted to ask you a question on the business side, and this is the final question on the business side, and then I have a couple of fun questions for you. On the business side, I was just curious from working with larger brands like Adidas, like Ferragamo, and other big brands that you've worked with. What are a few things that you've learned? What are some lessons you've learned from bigger companies, bigger brands?
Listen, I am such an entrepreneur that I have never worked for a company until 2 years ago, until I was working for Ferragamo. It was my first time I worked for someone, you know, and it was crazy. Like to arrive into a office, I arrived to change the industry. I was like, guys, are you ready? That's what I'm gonna do. And then everybody was like, oh my goodness, like so much energy, so much, like talking with my boss and telling, asking her why we cannot do in this way, or why we cannot innovate in this way. So what I understood is that there is big structures that you have to be able to. It has to be also with your talent, I think, and with your capability to work in this kind of pressure or ecosystem. Like I respect very much the people who work for someone, and I think it's necessary to have these people who's able to work and to be the best number two or the best number three. That I think that's super valuable, and I respect. The most thing I learned was that to see these people who works under another vision and trying to do the best things of that. you know like to see my colleagues that they're working, like their passion is to make the best for that dream, or the best for that company. And that was very inspiring. That, like, it was incredible. Another thing I learned very much working for luxury is like the need to the need to have your voice, and the need to create your narrative as a company, and to keep like straight on that, and not to, like, you need to be extremely consistent. Whatever you do is your choice, and this is your voice. You need to be extremely consistent. Can come a lot of ideas around, but if it's not, you need to move forward with who you are, and for that you need to renounce, to regret a lot of other ideas, a lot of other possibilities, a lot of other voices. um and yeah, the other thing is that I saw is how the business can drive, or a decision can drive the business into multiply incredible sales, or to go down in a year like crazy. So a strategy is like, it's not easy to arrive to this level, right? So when you arrive, perhaps it's the easiest part. What is complex is to maintain yourself there. So it's easy to arrive, but it's not easy to maintain being number one, to be there in the top. So it requires a lot of work, a lot of effort, a lot of vision, 360 degrees, to understand that everything has to be there. Everything has to be on time. Everything has to be well done. So it's a very, like, very, very hard kind of industry, but it's amazing. Is when I and me as an entrepreneur, when people ask me, hey, how's that? Like, it's the more hard thing, but the most beautiful thing. It's like incredible beautiful. Like to start up is like an incredible opportunity to test yourself every day, how great you are. And when you are not
Mhm.
so great, you have a challenge. I can be better. Yeah, tomorrow I can be better. and tomorrow I can be better, and every day we can be better. And I think that is the most beautiful thing, to inspire people with your work, but at the same time to be able to listen when you are doing like mistakes, that allows you to be better. It's not that you are losing nothing, you are going better and better, right? So for me, it's that biggest
Hmm.
learning that I have done there. And also I learned myself that I need to have my company. That was the best learning perhaps in the experience. Was like, my goodness, like after these years seeing so many borders inside, because the industry has already such a synergy, and working for other brand also in the luxury sector, it was, oh my goodness, like this industry has such a synergy. The designer is not anymore here. The designer died already, so the creative direction is on the hand of someone, and this someone has a very big responsibility. So it's very tricky, let's say, to work there inside of the industry. And as example, like Alessandro Michele with Gucci, that you cannot imagine that the creative director who made all this fortune for the brand, in one day he was quick from the company. Like, how, how this can happen? But it's the kind of industry, and these things can happen in the industry. And when you see from out, perhaps you can criticize. When you see from in, perhaps you can understand, you can have a different vision. So I love to respect the different visions. I think there is space for everyone, but the most biggest learning is that is a lot of space out to innovate and to make things better. And that's why I'm here with a challenge to build in the next 10 years the number one in luxury footwear industry in the world. And I commit, and I'm ready to do it, to work, to fight, and to do this race.
I have no doubt you're going to do that as well. And I think with your mindset and the entrepreneurial just visions that you have, you're quite literally unemployable. Just like myself, you're an entrepreneur, not even necessarily by choice, but out of necessity, because that is the only path for somebody like yourself. And I think, having those experiences with bigger brands and companies is always amazing. But just like you said, you also realize that I need to exercise my own creativity and my own will, and have that level of control that I want to exert on my work. And to do that, you really need to be in business for yourself, and
Yeah.
that's why you're doing this today. I want to wrap up by asking you a couple of fun questions. One, I'm just curious, who is it or what is it that inspires you? Who do you look at, or what do you look at? Who do you look up to? Who's inspiring to you nowadays?
You mean as another person who can inspire my career?
Yeah, I mean, all of it. What gives you inspiration? Is it somebody in history? Is it innovators? Is it people like Leonardo da Vinci, who are creators like yourself, have that tinkering brain? What is it that you look up to and you're like, I want to be like that person or go in that direction? What pulls you forward?
Well, I would say there is a lot of first, for my designs, the nature has been always my point of start. So when I have to create something, I go very much into the Voronoi structures, into the organic structures, skeletons. Like the harmony that we have in nature is very hard to imitate. So if the things are already very well done, it's kind of, as explorer, you go and you take what is your voice inside of this all nature of things. And yeah, I love to observe. I love to, I think creativity is not a magical process. Creativity is a very, very rational process of the interaction of ideas. So as much as ideas you have in your mind, and you can compare things, and you have all this, as you mentioned, the 5 books, I do exactly the same. I have like different references in my mind that I want to combine, and when I combine, I came up with something super, super new. As the stories, perhaps Phil Knight, the founder of Nike, the creator of Nike, is one of my big inspiration. Steve Jobs, because he has the power to understand quality. What was quality, and his equation was the base in innovation. So I feel very identified with him. Virgil Abloh, he was an incredible innovator. And Karl Lagerfeld. Karl Lagerfeld was an engineer of couture. He was able to create different concepts, different realities. Margiela, a super conceptual designer. Like, these are kind of people who I respect. I respect very much because they have something uh, extremely honest. that they put it into the table, independent of the team. People is always gonna look for making you feel bad or taking out the value you have. You know, when people say, yes, but Steve Jobs, you know, the second one was the guy who made the business. It's not about that. It's perhaps is both has a great talent, but there is one who was able to make that on that way, and was him. You know, like he can have an incredible team, and I don't have no doubt, because he always say that, like, surrounded with people that is incredible to be part of that team. And I think it would be beautiful to be recognized as part of this incredible transformation that Apple represents. But I think those people have make some big changes in the history of something, and definitely Da Vinci is an incredible inspiration for me. Salvatore Ferragamo, such a guy, such a genius that is and also people from today, like I get very very inspired. My mom, you know, is such a force of woman. Like, she's such a powerful woman that she's always positive, she's always optimistic. Everything will happen in a positive way, and it happens. You know, my father, with his discipline, his honestly, he's such an honest guy. He was governor of Imbabura with 42 years. He has already 4 kids, and I'm next in 2 months I'm doing 40, and people cannot believe that I'm 40. Like, they are like, but you looks like 20. I'm not, man. The secret is not to sleep, you know. The secret is not to rest. I
I love that.
I enjoy life so much that having, as mentioned, like a good partner, a good girlfriend, a good wife, like somebody on your side. If you have such a power and vision, you need somebody who can able not to compete, but to complement you. So to have a great girlfriend, or a great couple, a great partner, I think that's also something that inspires me every day. You know, my girlfriend inspires me, my parents inspire me, my brothers, each of them are doing something great somewhere in the world. And my friends, like, I get very excited when I see people that are getting success, you know. And for them who are not successing, I go to them and say, man, you know how much you value, you know what you're doing, like, come on, like, move forward. Like, I for me, it's always important to give. You know, I think that is so necessary, to give people hope, to give people light. There is so many bad things happening already to bring negativity, you know. Like, it's not, it's just to, it's one opportunity we have to be light, you know, to give your best, and to live the story you want to build, the legacy you want to live.
I love everything you're saying. And you know what's funny? I want to share something really quickly with you. I've always been a big believer that, sleep is just what it is, to get some rest and then get back to it. I'm not a big believer in, man-made constructs like, weekdays, holidays, Christmas, weekends, whatever. I just believe you have another 24 hours ahead of you to maximize, to move forward, to become who you want to become, to pursue your potential. So for me, if I can sleep, less than everybody else, if I can work more than everybody else, if I can be more on purpose, I'm going to do that. I'm going to take every advantage that I can. And I've always battled with sleep in this way where, I just don't want to, if I could operate without any sleep or any food, I would. If I had that option, I could press that button and they would say, you're going to be fully good. You'll live 400 or whatever, no sleep, no food. I would 100% push the button because then I would put all my time towards more useful things. Right. And, this is a very oversaturated saying, I'll sleep when I die. And, people will say, well, it's the other way around. If you don't sleep, you're going to die. Whatever you, and by the way, I'm aware of the science. I've read the book Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker. I'm aware of the value of sleep.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
just not interested by choice.
Yeah.
So, I'm very much okay being the only person on the planet that only sleeps 4 hours a night or, doesn't care much for sleep. But it's nice to see you talk about that. It's nice to see somebody else who's on the same page, who is validating my ideas. So I'm just glad to hear that.
We need to
This
build.
is something that
We need to build a theory.
100%. I always get a lot of slack for this, but I'm glad we're on the same page there. I want to ask you a final question to wrap this up. We wrap up all of our podcasts with this question, and I'm really curious to hear your answer because, man, I knew how intelligent you are in your domain, in the fashion industry, and what you do in your designs, but I didn't realize how intelligent you were and how wise you were generally speaking. And you've brought a ton of value. So I'm really curious to hear your answer. Knowing everything you know today and the person you are today, you said you're, almost 40. Obviously, you look really young, but with all your life experience and your wisdom today, if you could go back to younger Felipe and give yourself just one piece of advice, what would you tell yourself?
Believe in yourself. That's the best advice. Believe in yourself and never give up. Yeah, it's very simple. Like people get so much confused, and there is so much noise out that you distract and you disconcert, and you don't see where is the money. The money is inside of you. Like it's that is everything. The business is inside of you because you are the mind, you are the heart, you are the hands, you're the power, you're the reason, you're the experience, you're the knowledge. Like I love something from the indigenous culture, the cosmovision they have is to keep one eye closed because this eye serve to meditate and to see yourself, and the other one is to see out. So the one you see internally always, and the other one is to see it out. And this make the magic. This make your best version because always there is a space to improve yourself. And I'm working every day in my skills. Like we were talking about not sleeping, the passion. Now having a girlfriend and it's like so inspiring to see her, and I want to have time with her. And it's like try to create this time of value for my couple, and everything has a time. My grandpa, he was 4 years old, and he get married with a 20 years old lady. And since I was a child, I say always, I will get married at 40. That was like I will get married at 40. I knew it that I have so many things to do before that I was ready to enjoy my life in the best way, like to move, to do the best of myself, to grow until a point that I'm ready to take other commitments. My personal commitment is arriving in the point where I can start automatizing the business, when I can start delivery, when I can start scaling the business. And then I will be able to do with the same passion and the same love a family. So nobody has to be drive by time. It's like, no, because my friend is already getting married, I need to get married. No, because my friend is already in high school, I need to go. Because my friend is doing master, I need to go. Man, do your things. Trust in your process. Trust in your timing. And this is the most beautiful thing. Like when you meet yourself and you don't fall. I did my master's degree when I was 33, and my classmates were 19 and 20. You know, for me,
Mhm.
it was incredible. It was an amazing time to go to. I was just with one of my best friends of the school. Now he's 22 years, and he came. He's from India. He came to the show, and he was the most proud best friend that you can see. He was there, helping, supporting, moving, running, and it's like so refreshing, like coming to do your master's degree at 33 years. The other day I met a girl. She was like 31, I think. She was already like so depressed. She was so depressed that she
Mhm.
didn't did a master's degree, that she didn't did it was like, listen, you're 30 years, like you have other 70 years in front of you to do things. Like stop crying and go do shit.
Mhm.
Like what are you doing here? Like go do things. Like you are so young. People like collapse when they get 22. The other day, a friend of mine, he called me, man, I'm super sad, depressed. Why? What's going on? Like, because I get 22. I was, what? Are you talking serious? Like, like, man, I feel old. Like, what? How is possible? The new generation has such incredible power. And talking about something
Mhm.
incredible for this year, and a big achievement I received is I was selected by Psyche Collective as one of the 10 designers to be incubated during this year, together with the British Fashion Council. Um, Alice Delahan is the founder and the big mind behind this, and she's such a powerful leader, such a powerful woman. Like she's so young, so inspiring, and I would love to see thousands of women with that power. you know. And many times is the system. And I understand when they are the women are fighting for rights, or women are fighting, like, but not only women, everybody has to fight. There is so many, like, so many things bad on the system that are not working well. But if you are driven by the system, you will never find yourself. You will never build the best of yourself, or the best of you, because you are driven by others, by vision of others, by dreams of others, by timing of others. Take your time, do the things in the way you feel, and that's why it's so important to feel your heart, and to go um, into this spiritual direction that will allow you to understand yourself better, and to understand your purpose, why we are here. And when you have the why, everything is done. All the things are easy to do, but you need to understand why I am here.
That's beautifully put. I mean, there's nothing else that I can say on that. Just when I thought you can't over deliver anymore, you did it again. So I appreciate you sharing that. That's amazing advice to your younger self and to everybody else. It's amazing advice, I think, to us right now to just remember these ideas and remember where we are and where we're going. I think it's amazing advice to all entrepreneurs as well. I mean, you brought a lot of value today, so I'm gonna let you go. I'm not gonna take any more of your time. Let us know where everybody can find you. Where can everybody go check out your work? How can they support you? Where can they get in contact with you?
Sure. We have an Instagram as Felipe Fiallo, is the Instagram page of my brand. Also, you can go to www.felipefiallo.com is the web page. And yeah, all the things that you will see how we're putting this into the path, right? Like the new collection, the new materials, the 3D printed. We just launched the 3D printed collection, and also the bio collection. So there is a lot of things that you can go and feel the this process of developing, because the brand is still growing. And my biggest interest is to build the first community behind planet regeneration. And what we're going to give from every shoe we sell is an NFT that allows you to regrowth the planet. So as much you consume, as much we regrowth. It's kind of a system that we don't have to stop consumption, because people need things and people will not change these habits. But it's to teach people how to buy with better habits, and how these sales, or these products you buy, this consumption can has a purpose. And we become, or we're working to become the very first footwear luxury company to regenerate the planet. So if you commit, if you want to push all the boundaries in fashion industry, cool style and forward thinker, follow us, and we will have a lot of fun. A lot of incredible things are coming.
That's amazing. And we'll put all your links and everything in the notes as well, so
Great.
everybody can directly just click on it, get access to you and your team and websites and everything else. Again, Felipe, always a pleasure talking to you as a friend first, but also always inspiring talking to you as a fellow entrepreneur, fellow visionary. So thank you again for your time today and all the value that you brought. And I'm looking forward to more future conversations.
Thanks to you, Pouya. So happy to share this beautiful time and to share with your community. Keep in touch and dream big always.